I'm here to find out about the poachers gang, and I need to ask a few questions.
Well, ask away. I don't have all day.
You saying the town you were pushing.
I heard you were yelling in the tavern that you were off to hunt some venison.
Look here. I don't know who you are, but you should watch your mouth.
I will, don't you worry. So what happened then?
What? Nothing. It was just the beer talking. I got pissed and started spouting shit. Didn't mean a word of it.
Maybe not. That remains to be seen. That'll do me.
May the Lord watch over you.
Todavía tengo que decir algo que falta.
I hear there's been trouble with poachers recently.
I don't have time to talk to strangers. Good day to you. May the Lord watch over you.
Good health to you.
Yo, cojuda. Push your throat.
I'd like to find out about the poachers round here who've been stealing game recently.
If you ask me, there's some questions best left unanswered. But go and see Elena if you're determined. That old gossip will tell you all there is to know. God bless.
Speak to Marta.
Jesus Christ be praised.
No sea grosera, cojuda.
I heard you've got a poaching problem in the woods around here.
In the woods and out of them. Not long back the bastards hung a deer's head on the huntsman's house.
That's pretty brazen of them.
Certainly is. Word around the village is that someone wants to shame him till he squirms.
Let's be doing keeper's wife, Marta. So risky to me.
Cutting a deer's head on the huntsman's house sounds pretty risky. Why would anyone do that?
Maybe they want to show that Huntsman Nicholas is no match for them. And they're not wrong. He isn't the man he should be.
Do you think it was someone local?
I really don't know.
All sorts of things get said.
Hannikin Hare's back if you listen to some, and others are going on about Tom of the Baths. They swear blind he's got his fingers in it.
And what about you?
It could be anyone.
There's more
than one that has it in for Nicholas. And who knows what the neighbors get up to by night.
What's so suspicious about this Thomas?
Just that he was drunk and blabbering about how he was going to bring back venison from the woods.
Tell me something about Hannikin Hare.
He used to be master huntsman here a while back. But then Nicholas got him accused of a murder, and the hare had to flee. It cost him the huntsman's rank and Margaret too.
What happened between Hare and Nicholas anyway?
Those two didn't get on from the start. And then that business with Margaret really set them at each other's throats. But it all came to a head about 15 years back when Sir Henry of Lipa came to visit.
Sir Hanish's father?
Just so. There was a banquet at the castle in his honor, and in the morning they found one of Sir Henry's men-at-arms in the ditch with his neck broken. Well, Nicholas made sure the blame fell on Hannikin Hare.
So how did Nicholas put the blame on Hare?
Nicholas always had a viper's tongue, and events made it easy for him. That evening there'd been a right falling out between Hare and the guardsman. Blows were struck, Well, Sir Divish didn't want any ill will with Sir Henry, so he tried to settle things as quick as he could, and Hare got the short straw.
What was going on with Margaret?
Her father promised her to Hannikin, because they seemed a good match. But Nicholas couldn't stomach that, so he did what he did.
By now, Margaret knows something about Hannikin here.
I want to ask about something else. So why do people think Tom of the Baths is involved?
Ah, that's just nonsense. He was bragging in the tavern that he'd put on a venison feast for the village girls. Deer for the deers.
Did he?
I doubt it. He's all mouth and no trousers. But if you want to know more, ask my husband, the innkeeper. I wasn't here that evening.
That'll be all. Thanks.
May the Lord watch over you.
I'd like to find out about the poachers round here who've been stealing game recently.
If you ask me, there's... May the Lord watch over you.
Gamekeeper. Gallery.
A good day to you. What do you need?
I've heard Tom of the Baths was mouthing off in here.
So he did.
He and Jay
He
Piper.
and Jack Piper were bragging about how they'd make a feast for the village lasses, that there'd be venison roast and enough beer to fill a river. And a few days later, they did come and buy a few kegs of beer from me.
Did they say anything else?
Did they have anything else to say?
Not really. I told him to shut up, or someone would hear him and there'd be trouble.
And what did he say to that?
Nothing. He had more booze in him than the castle cellar. He just hiccuped and slid under the table.
Piper took
him off after that, thank God.
And who is this Jake Piper?
Oh, he's Tom's best mate. A decent fellow. They call him the Piper because everywhere he goes he's whistling on that pipe of his.
Where can I find him?
Well, most likely in the quarry. He lends a hand there to make ends meet.
Talk to Jackie Piper. Do you think he's in?
Do you suppose he meant it?
Hardly. He's nothing but a braggart.
All right, I'd best ask him myself.
Well, feel free to ask, but don't believe half what he says.
Folk were talking about Hannikin Hare.
Oh, good Lord. People do like to prattle on. Don't you go believing a word they say. It's the back of beyond here, and they'll tell any tale to spice things up a bit.
Do you think Nicholas isn't doing enough?
A master huntsman who lets poachers run wild through his woods?
He's useless.
He's useless. He couldn't even stop them hanging a stag's head on his own house.
Right. Thank you, innkeeper. I'll be going. How are the Talmberg folk getting on? Is it peaceful here?
Ah, things here are not too bad at all. May the Lord watch over you.
Who are you? Hey, you! Halt! You there! Stop! You! Stop right where you are! Don't move a finger! Hey, you! Don't move a muscle! You there! Stop! You! Stop right where you are! Surrender! You've committed a violence. Ah! call that combat? Ah! Come here, lily lip.
Christ. Marigold. Cuando alguien knows something about Henneken here, vamos a buscar eso. Vamos a ver cuánta plata tenemos, 2200 todavía. Ay, pero me pueden arrestar acá.
Good day to you.
Henneken here.
I've been hearing some quite wild stories about hair.
People do prattle on. It happened a long time ago, and I've heard some crazy tales myself.
And what's your version of what happened?
Hare was a stuck-up knob. He came here with nothing to show but his bare arse. But he thought he could have anything he pointed at. All because he was of noble stock.
Whatever became of him?
Oh, you must have heard. He killed one of the armed men that served Sir Henry of Lipa, and they sentenced him to hang. Except he scapered right out of the castle dungeon.
How did he manage that?
Nobody knows, but I'll bet he had help from someone up at the castle.
And what was your wife's role in all this?
He had his eye on her, and she didn't want him. That's all. And it had nothing to do with what happened later.
That's all I need. Thanks. May the Lord watch over you.
Amiri, Margaret.
What do you want from me?
I'd like to ask you about Henneken Hare.
I'm sorry,
reputation.
but I really don't want to talk about that.
Everything is back to you.
The thing is, every time I spoke to someone about hair, they always ended up talking about you.
But I don't.
Success.
You aren't to blame for anything, is that it? Well, I am willing to believe you, but you do know more than you're telling, and I need to hear it.
Very well.
You're right.
You're
and what
right.
would you like to know about her?
And what would you like to know about hair?
How were things between you and Hare back then?
There was nothing between us. Henneken Hare impressed my father with all his talk of noble blood. But I couldn't stand him, and I didn't want to marry him. And then it made no odds after he ran away.
So you didn't want him? I only asked because I've heard differently.
That's village talk. Of course folk gossip. Mostly they just want to hurt Nicholas.
Did Hare really commit the murder?
God in heaven, how should I know? Anyway,
It doesn't matter now.
now.
That remains to be seen. That'll be everything.
God bless.
Pero todavía hay algo. Yo voy a ir acá, entonces. Hay algo que todavía no me ha dicho Margaret. Pero bueno, voy primero allí. Brada. Brada, brada. Suena como a Greda. O a Brada, el femenino de Brad Pitt.
Huh.
El nombre femenino de Brad Pitt.
Hey,
Brada.
is someone there?
Unos marranos. Ah, Jake Piper. Primero preguntémosle a Jake Piper.
Hey, you! Halt!
God be with you.
Surrender! You'll have to answer for your
I
lawbreaking.
need to ask you something about the poachers.
What? Me? Why me, for Christ's sake?
They say you were mouthing off in the tavern.
We'd all had a few ales. You know what it's like. The tales get taller.
So you didn't go poaching with Thomas?
My God, no. That would never even cross our minds. Thomas is a bit wild, but I have some sense, at least. May the Lord watch over you.
Surrender! You'll have to answer.
Oh my God! No! All right, enough.
What the hell do you think you're doing, hurting people like that? We won't put up with violent brutes here. Is that clear? You should have thought twice about what you're doing. That'll land you a fat fine.
¿Cuánto vale? Uy. I have a secret task. Why should I serve the Lord Friday?
I can't pay that.
Well, it's a jail cell for you then.
No, you're making a serious mistake. If only you knew what you've just got yourself into. This won't end well for you.
My heart bleeds for you.
Pay y luego
All right.
se los
Here you
pago y
are.
se los vuelvo a quitar ahorita.
All right. Just make sure it doesn't happen again.
Tranquilo que se los voy a quitar ya. Ustedes, bueno, cuando pueda. Aquí está, son 275 grochis. Voy a grabar y se los voy a quitar a usted. A usted lo voy a matar. Y me lo va a llevar por allá a un río para que nadie lo vea. Pendejo. Por sapo. 275 grochins que me costó trabajo conseguirlos. Me costó trabajo. Cogí un baúl cerca del cuadro y ahí los cogí, los 200 y otra plata. Usted va a tener... perdió ya la vida. Pobrecito. A ver. Me da mucha pena, señor, pero usted va a morir. Usted es el que está ahí, a ver. No sé. Bueno, después veo a ver qué es lo que es. Por el momento les tengo que preguntar una cosa. Otra vez. Talk pipe.
What am I doing talking to a pauper like you?
I need to ask you something about the poachers.
What? Me? Why me, for Christ's sake?
They say you were mouthing off in the tavern.
We'd all had a few ales. You know what it's like. The tales get taller.
So you didn't go poaching with Thomas?
My God, no. That would never even cross our minds. Thomas is a bit wild, but I have some sense at least.
They say you were mouthing off in the tavern.
We'd all had a...
So you didn't go
My God, no.
¿Qué pasó? Entonces no estoy bien vestido. Como
Take
que
care now.
No estoy bien vestido. Venga a ver. Armor. Talk to Jake Piper. Find out Margaret knows something about Anakin here. Find out the Blacksmith very soon in the woods. Pero tengo que matar al desgraciado. Desgraciado faltaba pendejo. ¿Es este? No, ese no es. Tampoco era. Este tampoco es.
Who's there? Answer me.
Blacksmith Berry.
Mother of God, you reek.
¿De verdad?
I've got a few questions about these poachers.
So ask.
I heard you saw something. What did you think about?
I heard you saw something fishy in the forest.
That's right, I did.
Can you describe what you saw?
It was after dark, I remember that. I went up past the castle along by the clearing, and I saw someone had lit a fire, and there were figures singing and dancing, and I could hear the whistling of a pipe. And I could smell roast meat. It was like a feast of some sort. Only I thought maybe it was some witch's Sabbath, so I was afraid to stay too long in case they saw me.
Did you recognize anyone?
Did you recognize anyone there? Someone from the village,
maybe?
No. Like I said, it was dark. All I could see was shadowy figures moving around.
Did you hear any familiar voices?
No. But I heard girls' laughter, goblets clinking, a piper playing. Sounded just like any feast.
Where is the clearing?
A short walk north of the castle. There's a track past the woodcutter's camp that takes you there.
Thanks. What do you make of this poaching that's been going on?
It's clear as day. Hannikin Hare's back. And putting those antlers on Nicholas's house? Well, we all know what that means, don't we? It's the sign of a cuckold, you mark my words.
Do you mean the horns of a cuckold?
You mean to say his wife's cheating on him?
All I'm saying is she might be feeling the urge. It happens in the best of families.
Well, you're the first who's certain of Hare's return.
So far,
I've just heard vague rumours.
Well, now, I wouldn't say I'm completely sure. I suppose some other mischief maker could have done it, but better the devil you know. And everyone hereabouts knows Hare.
You were singing a different song not long ago.
So? Why do you want to know so much, anyway?
It's nothing to you, but I'm helping Nicholas unmask that local poaching gang.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, now you know. And you also know not to keep anything from me. So, what's the story with that Hare?
All right, I'll tell you what I know. But promise not to tell Nicholas I said it.
I'll do what I can, but I need to let him know what I discover. So, out with it.
It's to do with Margaret, his wife. They say it's all because of her.
Keep going.
I know full well Hare's here, because Margaret admitted as much.
What did she tell you?
That he waited in the woods till she came by and they exchanged some words. Words was all she told me. Who knows what they actually got up to?
And what did they speak about?
I don't know. But if Nicholas knew they'd met, he'd most likely kill her.
You're sure she wasn't saying it in jest?
Oh, no. Margaret wouldn't joke about something like that.
Who's this Hannikin Hare, anyway?
Hannikin Hare? There was a time he was master huntsman here, and Margaret was set to be his wife. But then he got himself accused of murder, and fled before they could hang him. Margaret and his job both ended up going to Nicholas.
So what's the story between Hare and Margaret?
It was complicated. He wanted her, and she wanted him too, I reckon. At least for a while. But then she hitched up with Nicholas, and now she says she never had a thought of wedding Hannikin Hare.
Ha ha ha.
So what went on between Hare and the huntsman?
Those two? There was no love lost between them from the moment Hare arrived. And then Margaret got involved. It was a messy business.
Do you think Hare really killed that man?
Who knows the truth of it now? I did find it all a bit odd. Hare never was much of a hothead. But then again, no one really knew him that well. And Margaret never wanted to speak of it. Wouldn't hear a word about it.
That's all I need. Thanks.
Good luck then.
Entonces ahora, ¿qué es lo que tengo que hacer? Entonces ahora voy para allá, acá al clearing. Ojalá haya plata. Necesito plata.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Dineros. Necesito dinero. muy bien por acá, a ver. Ah, mire. Va a tocar ir de noche. ¿dónde está eso?
Crawling out from under
Just
some
when I
rock.
wanted to vent my...
Ay, miren.
There's something lying there, isn't there? Shame to leave it lying here, eh?
Acá.